home Bobby Thompson. Brilliant second from Bobby Thompson. Ash Sutton in third. They'll be out on track at 2:25. But we just got time to show you a little bit of the Porsche Sprint Challenge, making their first appearance on the support programme this season. There's a new car entering the mix as well, so a lot of interest for Tim Harvey and David Addison.
Round 2 of Porsche Sprint Challenge Great Britain is going to take place on a damp circuit here at Snetterton, with the race 1 winner, Seb Hopkins, on pole position and Max Coates lining up second. Will Jenkins will go from third, championship newcomer Tom Bradshaw fourth ahead of Robert Cronin, and Toby Trice returning to Porsche Caymans, he will be sixth on the grid. Then Matt Kyle-Hennig and Ethan Hamilton ahead of Ed Stanton and Rhys Summerfield. Oliver Cottam makes his Porsche Championship debut, and Oliver Meadows, whose brother Michael was a Carrera Cup GB champion, is next. On row 7 there's Jacob Tops and Bal Sidhu ahead of George Jackson and then Oscar Dix. Behind them will be Jonathan Beeson and Sam Harvey. Next on the grid, Karin Sakat and Caitlin Wood, former W Series racer, with Paul Porter and Darrell Wilson rounding out the grid. Serious bits of kit, and on a slippery track then to get Sunday's programme underway. 2 races today. It is Seb Hopkins on pole position, Max Coates with him at the front of the grid, who had a race win last year, kind of by default because he inherited after penalties, and Max desperately wants to score more wins this year. The lights change, we go racing, and a better start by Coates than Seb Hopkins, who slithers off pole position, and Max Coates is going to lead on the way down towards Riches for the first time. The yellow and black car, Tom Bradshaw round the outside line, the Lancashire driver, he's up into second place, and a good start by Will Jenkins in the black and green livery to go third. So Seb Hopkins from pole has tumbled back into fourth place.
Well, that was a repeat of what happened yesterday. Ooh, that just got the car stopped on the outside. Max Coates made a brilliant start yesterday, and Seb Hopkins had to fight back, but Max has got off to a perfect start once again today in similar conditions.
Riding on board with Ethan Hamilton, one-time touring car racer. He's 8th at the moment as the cars go down towards Agostini. And of course, in order to do the overtaking here, you've got to go offline, where it will be slippery drama in the background. Our first casualty, one all over the grass. There's a lot of runoff there. So the good news is nothing solid hits. Now he's got to try and get back on track. The race leader, Max Coates, in the meantime, heading Tom Bradshaw, heading Will Jenkins. In 4th place, Seb Hopkins. 5th, Robert Cronin, whose elder brother Keith Cronin had a good victory up in the most recent round of the British Rally Championship yesterday. And then in 6th place, Toby Trice back into circuit racing after his Silverstone crash last year. This is for 7th, with Ethan Hamilton on the inside of Rhys Summerfield, and the road is going to come to Ethan Hamilton in that blue and black car on the inside line. He goes by. Is he going to run out wide? No, gets the line, keeps the place. A big slide for Hamilton, and around it goes. Back in the right direction, but he's a passenger at the moment. There's lots of arm twirling going on. He rally crosses his way back onto the circuit. He rejoins, place is lost. That could have been a whole lot worse. So Tom Bradshaw was second, not anymore. This is the replay.
Probably looking in his mirrors, wasn't he? And just didn't get judged that entry quite right. Yeah, very much real world.
That's Hopkins off the road from second place. Well, he ain't second anymore because Will Jenkins has gone past him. So 1 up and then 1 back for Seb Hopkins in this snakes and ladders kind of race, going up and down the order. So Max Coates still leads the way, keeping out of trouble, but behind him, Jenkins is back up into second spot.
That's going to increase the lead that Coates has when they fight. Look at the gap now. So we'll see the actual time when they come across the line, but that has definitely increased his lead with 12 and a half odd minutes left to go in this race.
Now racing in British GT, as a little bit wide there goes Will Jenkins. Seb Hopkins right there with him. All of this further to help Max Coates, who's now 5.3 seconds clearing the lead of the race as they come into the braking zone. Further back, Rhys Summerfield. Matt Kyle-Hennig side by side. This is for the lead of the AM class. Matt Kyle-Hennig stuck his nose up the inside there, couldn't go through, but not for the ones who were trying. They were split by 0.192 of a second when they came over the line. So these are the top 2 in the RS AM class. The third of the AMs is Ed Stanton, who is in the 4th car in that queue, the second of the yellow and black livery cars. But right now, Rhys Summerfield, graduate of Ginetta Racing, is having to make the car really wide to keep Matt Kyle-Hennig at bay. Great battle between those two, 8 minutes on the clock. And Jenkins and Hopkins as one as they come into the S's. Will Jenkins hangs onto the line. Unusual lines in the WAC, going for where the grip is, but Hopkins quicker out of the second part of the S's. That brings him now closer to the back of Will Jenkins' car. Will wide at Bombhole, again looking for the grip on the outside line, up towards Coram now, 7 minutes and change on the clock. It looks as though Hopkins has got the quicker car, but Jenkins is defending really impressively as they drop down to the end of the lap now.
Yeah, it's a good battle, a little bit of defence there by Will, just going into the final corner and just placing it in the middle of the road. But he hasn't got such a good exit, and that's giving Hopkins a run down the outside, which might be favourable for the line into Riches, who's the last of the bravest on the brakes. Whoa, the cars are squirming around on the ABS, but Hopkins, with that better grip on the outside, I think he's going to get that place. He does indeed.
Brave stuff, good move, good clever driving that by Seb Hopkins.
Kyle Henney ahead of Summerfield, so that is a change of position for the AM category of the RSs.
Yeah, that's a change of lead. Kyle Henney, as you say, Tim, ahead of Rhys Summerfield. So, having thought that Rhys might be able to hang on, not only has he lost the lead, he's lost a chunk of time as well, because Kyle Henney in this new team, no stranger to Porsche racing, whether it's the Sprint Challenge or the Porsche Club of Great Britain's Club Series. He used to race a Boxster in that, but going really nicely here. Again, it shows how much track time helps to move on a driver. Rhys Summerfield behind him. So a change for 7th and 8th places. And actually, Ed Stanton, the man that won the class yesterday, is not that far behind. 3rd in class. 3 minutes and a bit remain. Lead gap 5.5 seconds. And this was how Kyle Henney made the move, again on that outside line.
Yeah, that is the preferable line. It wouldn't be in the dry, but it definitely is in the wet. It's just a slightly wider radius. There's more grip on the outside. It's not so polished. And through he goes.
And that's Tom Bradshaw getting himself up to 4th at the expense of Robert Cronin. As Ethan Hamilton is still on the attack, look. So creeping his way into the mix. Oliver Cottam ahead of him, whose grandfather, Alan Cottam, used to race Connaught Historic Grand Prix cars. And Oliver has come out of junior saloon car racing. On to Bentley Straight they go. To the inside line looks Ethan Hamilton, and he's got the drive off the corner.
Really good drive off the corner. And he's on what I would consider the preferable outside line, breaking into the chicane. He's already ahead. Is there going to be a fight back? No, Ethan Hamilton is going to get that position. But the man that's got it all clicked on right today, so far at this race, is definitely Max Coates.
Checkered flag at the ready. Round 2 of Porsche Sprint Challenge Great Britain is won by Max Coates, his first on-the-road win in a Porsche. 2nd across the line from pole position, the man that won yesterday's race, Seb Hopkins. So it's 1-1 between those two. And 3rd across the line is going to be Will Jenkins. Round 2 of Porsche Sprint Challenge GB, won by Max Coates ahead of Seb Hopkins and Will Jenkins 3rd. 4th, Tom Bradshaw ahead of Robert Cronin and Toby Trice. And in 7th, the winning AM in the RS category, and that's Kyle Henney ahead of Rhys Summerfield and Ed Stanton, who won in round 1. Ethan Hamilton had a spin, but he rounds out the top 10. Oliver Cottam 11th ahead of Jacob Toft, and then Oliver Meadows, Balsidhu coming through in 14th place. 15th, another class winner, Oscar Dix, the Club Sport Pro